Oh my goodness. And there it is. Wow, get the good to go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to BullTV.com for the 2021 PWBA Albany Open taking place at Kingpin's Alley Family Fun Center in South Glens, New York, upstate New York, the home of the PWBA Tour this week. My name is Aaron Smith with Bull TV. Excited to bring you another podcast here into the practice session here. We've been doing it before every event so far in the 2021 season. It's been a great way to learn a little bit more about the oil pattern, talk to some players, talk to some ball reps as they get comfortable out there for what's hopefully going to be another exciting week on the PWBA Tour. Last week, we saw Stephanie Zavala at the BVL Open win her second title in just 5 career PWBA Tour events to jump to the top of the Rookie of the Year standings. Very impressive performance from Stephanie. She's going to be back in the field this week. And we kind of expect, we had a little bit lower scoring pace last week. We kind of expect the scoring pace to jump up a little bit. We're going to go 36 feet today. So we're going to talk a little bit about the oil pattern and more in just a minute. So a short pattern this week. We're expecting some high scores. Let's go out to the lanes, though. We'll bring in the rest of the Bull TV crew in just a moment as we settle in here. So heading out to the lanes for a practice. So, folks, if this is your first time joining us for the PWBA Tour here in 2021, this is a standard event on the schedule. We have 20 events in total over the course of the entire season. The event format is going to work like this. Tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern, all competitors, all 66 players in the field will be on the lanes to compete in the first round of qualifying. That's going to be 6 games. They're all going to be back a little bit later in the day, 5 p.m. Eastern, for the second round of qualifying, another 6 games. And after 12 games, total pinfall will determine the top 32 advancing to Saturday's competition. Starting Saturday morning, 10 a.m., same time, same place. Another 6-game block will cut the field down from 32 to 12. And then finally, one more 6-game block. That'll be at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. We'll determine the top 4 after 24 games of total pinfall to make it to the step ladder finals right here on BullTV.com for the Albany Open. With the step ladder finals, of course, the opportunity to win a title here on the PWBA Tour. We're pretty excited about the lineup we have in store for that as well. Dave Lamont is going to be joining us once again on the call, along with Carolyn Dorn-Ballard and potentially Kelly Kulik as well. So we already have a stacked lineup for the TV show coming up tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on BullTV.com. But the question is, who are going to be the 4 players advancing out to join us on the show? So as we're going to go full screen right here, those are some of the questions we are looking to find out this week. And if you're watching on BullTV.com, you already know we have a total of 4 channels available, including a commentary channel. So 4 individual stations and then the commentary channel as well to jump around the house here at Kingpin's Alley Family Fun Center. This is the second consecutive week spectators have been allowed in the facility. So in talking with Liz Culkin, who's, the Capital Region's one of their standout bowlers in the area, 2-time PWBA Tour titleist, 4-time Team USA member, said the area has been looking forward to this event. It's a great bowling community in upstate New York, and they're excited. They're ready for this event, so excited to see the fans back out there supporting the tour once again. And for our practice session as well, a new change for this particular event. In the past, if you've been watching along with us, you know the players tended to move based off of their starting pairs. Last week, players were allowed to move around the house, and but there were still little breaks in between. But this is going to be a 90-minute practice session from what I've been told. So players are allowed to move around the house as they see fit. So as we go around for this practice session, we will do the same to see who is available. Throughout the course of the week, the lanes that we will be covering, 21 through 36 here at Kingpin's Alley. And for folks who are watching on BowlTV.com, if you want to see the schedule, you want to see the lane pairings, the roster, and of course, the oil pattern. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Be sure to head on over. If you can see the chat on BowlTV.com, you see a couple tabs above the chat. The one in the middle will take you to a landing page on PWBA.com, another place to access all this great information. For those of you watching on Facebook and on YouTube, we certainly appreciate you joining us here on Bowl TV for the official practice session of the PWBA Albany Open. As a reminder, though, the place to watch the event is going to be BowlTV.com. So for today, a free look-in for everybody to check it out. But to watch wire-to-wire coverage, including the stepladder finals, you will have to pick up a subscription to BowlTV.com. A few different price points to come in at. If you just want to watch, you can pick up an event ticket for $8.95. If you want to pick up a monthly recurring subscription, that's going to be $9.95, and then an annual subscription, $79.95. Transaction fees do apply with all three of those. If you are interested, though, however, in a monthly or an annual recurring subscription, that does unlock the entire website. So not only the live events, but you get to watch archived events, our historical pages, our coaching pages, the backstage channel, and more. So plenty of on-demand content as well. The monthly or the annual unlocks the entire site, whereas the event ticket just brings you the live coverage throughout the course of the tournament. Once again, this is a 90-minute session. Did see a question about live scoring? We are going to attempt to have that throughout the course of the week. So with the practice session going on, they actually don't have the scoring system turned on, but we're going to attempt to get you that link from Lane Talk for competition heading into Friday and Saturday's competition. Good question, though, in the chat. Big hello to everybody for joining us here on BowlTV.com. Some familiar names already. We got Rep joining us. Hello, Jim. Hello, Jennifer. Rebecca. Got Larry. We got James. We got Barbara. Don checking in. The one and only Mike Flanagan already dropping some pics in the chat. So hello, good folks. And very shortly, we will be also saying hello to another member of the Bowl TV crew this week on site in Albany. So luckily for you folks, you don't have to listen to me all weekend. Again, we're just taking a live look here at the practice session, 90 minutes. Players can move around the house as they would like to over the course of this 90-minute session. We got the 25-time titleist, Liz Johnson, delivering a strike on 33 and 34. Kayla Bandy. Kelly Kulik was on this pair to start as well. There's 2019 PWBA Rookie of the Year, Valerie Bercier on 36. Folks, we will have a giveaway coming up a little bit later today as well, exclusively on BowlTV.com. So if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, you can check out this very same stream and check out the Bowl TV community and more by just creating a login. So be sure to check that out as well while you're here this week. So I got some fun stats for everybody about this oil pattern once we get a little bit further into this broadcast. And talk about short patterns on the PWBA Tour. So we mentioned 36 feet of the length. It's something we don't see too often out on tour. So excited to see the players do their thing here. We often talk about how great these players are at playing up the lane, playing straight. And, you know, obviously Liz Johnson, we're watching her right now, taking them pretty direct. But we haven't had too many patterns that have pushed the players this close to the gutter in not only recent events, but recent years here on tour. So excited to see these players work out this part of their game. And I think we're ready for our first sideline report. Going to bring in Curtis Von Kruger from Kingpin's Alley. Curtis.
Hey, good afternoon, Aaron. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, doing well. Great to see you once again. Glad to have you here on Bowl TV. Tell me a little bit about what's going on site there.
Well, there is not a lack of hook. I will say that. You know, I think you alluded to it earlier. This is the first time that these ladies have bowled on a short pattern like this in over 3 years. So definitely some new pattern styles for them to kind of test out. Some of these new rookies are going to get an opportunity to play part of the lane that they haven't played out here. And I'll tell you what, talking to Chuck, and he's Chuck Gardner with Brunswick, and he was saying, hey, get it outside 5 and throw it hard. And there is these lane surfaces obviously are going to hook a lot. And then I don't know if you've mentioned the oil, the strain oil that we're using, absolutely a higher friction oil. Coupled with this, you know, this old school scorpion pattern, which, you know, has been around for a number of years, obviously known for its hook and having to play faster speeds. So it's good. I'm already taking a look at where these ladies are playing, and, you know, I think they're all kind of following the same strategy right now, just kind of testing the waters. But it's going to be a very fun tournament to watch. I think obviously we'll have a lot higher scoring pace than we did last week with that particular pattern, but it's going to be a fun one.
Curtis, you mentioned the players haven't seen a pattern this short since the 2018 season. And there's only one event that had a pattern that short. That was the Sonoma County Open, which was a relatively low-scoring event until the championship match, which had a tremendous finale between Shannon O'Keefe and Verity Crawley, battling, both shooting in the 260s. After that score seemed, you know, pretty much impossible throughout the course of that weekend. And the gentleman who was there to watch the action, to call that action, was Emil Williams Jr. So let's see if he's ready to come join us here and bring him into the broadcast. Mr. Williams Jr., how are you?
I'm good, man. I am. Hold on. There we go. I'm better now that I can be heard in a significant manner. I'm good. Good to see you once again, Ron. Curtis, good to see you on camera. I didn't just see you in person. But anyway, been listening to the notes, obviously, Aaron. Another good job in that regard. Curtis, obviously, what you just mentioned is spot on as well. I think this is a week where we will see players have to get into the bag of tricks, the tool bag. We talked a little bit about that last week also, but now you got to go to a different tool, right? We've all got probably grandparents, uncles, fathers who work on stuff, right? They've got the tool bag. I mean, Caitlin, actually, when she puts up these masking units every week, she's got a tool bag as well. And that's where they need to go, because if it's not outside of 5, it's hooking.
Yes.
It is hooking with no regard for human life. So if you can kind of get behind the ball, flatten it out a little bit, create some end over end, a bit more forward roll, that will be your friend this week. If you can somehow manipulate in whatever fashion a player needs to do that to make sure the ball gets right of 5, they will be doing that. I'd be interested to see how left players will get, maybe immediately. I hope not. That probably wouldn't be too good for not only themselves, but probably the pattern as well. And I think, straighter seems to be probably greater this week, but I think even straight players so far, if you miss left by a board, it could hook. So I don't think anyone's really – I don't know if anyone necessarily has an advantage style type. I think, those who throw it a little straighter probably would already have an advantage, because their first thought probably is how can I throw it straighter, even, from a straight standpoint, how can I throw it even straighter? That would be what I'm thinking. And I look at this, and I can kind of put my bowler hat on for a little bit. When I was bowling competitively, I would love to see, or I couldn't wait to see something that was short, and something that allowed me to kind of play my A game, which was straighter. And so for me, I would already get right and see how much room I had to work with before it started hooking. I think the difference here is, even if you're right of 5, by game 2, you're probably going to have to make some move left no matter what you do. And who can make the moves the quickest and best, I think. And I think, our favorite word that starts with a U will be in play this week. Urethane. I know Mike made some picks. I would right off the bat say I think Shannon Puhalski would be in the step-ladder finals, because I think she would be able to manipulate her urethane. She'll have a few to go to as well, and I think she'll know exactly what to do on something like this.
Absolutely. I already saw a couple of players break out the urethane early. Dario Payo, you're talking about straighter is greater. There's a player who can kind of manipulate and do a couple of hand tricks at the bottom of her swing. She was up the back of it as much as I've seen her in a very, very long time. Just really kind of throwing it hard up the back with some urethane. It still was hooking a lot. So I think you're absolutely right. It's who can manipulate the ball. Last week it was all about getting a little bit of tilt, trying to get some angle into the pocket. This time it's going to be, can you get your ball to stop? And so really excited to see how these players attack the lanes as we move forward.
And we do have Daria moving to lanes 33 and 34 here, so we'll get to see her attack the lanes for a few shots. Pretty direct there. And excellent result. We talked a lot about this oil pattern. Let's toss it up on the screen. So our apologies to lanes 35 and 36 for just a moment as we take a look at the pattern. Once again, this is available on PWBA.com. But some of our notes from Nick Hoagland this week, as you guys alluded to, obviously this is one of the few times we've seen the short pattern out there on tour, even since 2015. We'll get into those numbers in a little bit, but using one of Kegel's hooking oils, using Terrain this week. So last week was Current, which was a little bit heavier volume oil. This one creates a little bit more hook out there. So from Nick's notes, this is, as he says, very close to the original PBA Cheetah from the early 2000s. So if you remember those shows and those patterns, folks, we had some fun watching those shows for sure. So a slight tweak with it being a foot longer, 36 feet in distance with a 33-foot drop bush. A little bit heavier volume, almost 27 mils, but once again, the oil we're using this week, Terrain, is a hooking oil, so that's going to kind of even itself out in its own way. All forward oil coming out this week. Lanes should hook from anywhere, but the ball has to be right of 5 for the right-handers at the break point, or it's going to go in directions of who knows where. So that's one of the things we're going to keep an eye out with this pattern. Placed 2-to-1 on the ratio. You can see it up there, and once again, we'll go back to 35 and 36 in a moment here. But so urethane, as we mentioned, we talked a little bit about it last week as well, guys, with a few players electing to go to that to as tough as they were at the BVL Open on Long Island. It was something to keep players kind of in play, and they're kind of looking at it the same way, but something they could potentially use for a couple games here if they're able to trick it enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so, Aaron, and I think we're really without a doubt. I think we mentioned Daria, obviously, and we know Daria can throw it hard as well. Obviously, her rev rate with the combination of urethane. I watched her throw 2 shots. One was kind of up the boards, 10 back, and then she tossed one out probably to see how much room she had. And the ball started to curve, but, it still gave the slight urethane look on the end, kind of a lazy 10-pin. But, if I see that right there, I'm like, okay, I probably got a few options. Right, we just saw Daria there again. Daria and Liz Johnson, and obviously, right, I think Liz kind of goes without saying, but it probably should be noted that, Liz Johnson probably will score very well on something like this, considering what she has done throughout her entire career, of course, based on style. I think there's a few straighter players. I mean, I would even look at Kayla Bandy, for example, as well. I mean, Liz probably threw that one out the window in this draw. So, I mean, I think they can get comfortable pretty early. Curtis and I were talking about who can get their balls to stop hooking, especially those who, kind of have a higher rev rate. On toward last week, Aaron, you mentioned on the step ladder finals with CDB. If you wanted rev rate like that was your weekend, right? This one might be if you enjoy straight players or at least gutter play. This is your week for sure. I mean, look what she just did.
That one was halfway over the edge there.
and she moved left and threw something that was reactive, and we were continuing to try. Now, I want to give Rep some credit in the chat, mentioning how this pattern should tighten up the more, of course, it is laid down. And that goes certainly without saying. I think that's a great point to keep in mind. This is still fresh. It's been a few hours. It has sat for a little bit. But we also know each and every week, and Mike has touched on this when he's been out too, as far as each time the pattern is laid down, the tighter it does play, the truer it does play. So we haven't quite seen the how true it is. We know that practice is practice, but it's still fun to watch. I like the gutter when it plays, and I'm super excited for this week.
And looking back at the history of oil patterns since the relaunch of the tour in 2015, prior to this week, there have only been 5 events that have had a pattern 36 feet or shorter. We talked about the Sonoma County Open in 2018, Shannon O'Keefe winning that on 36 feet. The Lincoln Open in 2016 and 2017, both were at 36 feet. Shannon O'Keefe winning in 2016. Cindy Jane from Malaysia winning in 2017. And then we had 2 events in 2015. The Detroit Open won by a player we're watching right now, Liz Johnson, and then the Topeka Open, which was at 35 feet, won by Liz Culkin for her very first title.
Oh,
and
wow.
of course, we talked a lot about Liz. Our preview story was about her this week, kind of the hometown favorite, if you will. Coming into this event, she lives about, she said it was about a 45-minute drive from South Glens Falls, but a center she is very familiar with. The center has hosted a ton of tournaments over the course of the years. So Liz has been here for team events, for singles events. The New York State Queens has been here. The women's state championships has been held here. So she has been here. She knows some of the characteristics of this house. knows what she's going to be looking for throughout the course of competition. And arguably, she's been one of the players heating up this year as well. She did not bowl in the Kickoff Classic Series in January. So her season started at the Twin Cities Open. But she has quietly put together a nice year through these first 5 weeks, has one stepladder finals appearance at the Queens, and just missed the show last week at the BVL Open. And she said she's feeling confident, she's feeling ready, and she feels she's a player who can come out here, especially having the hometown support this week. She's looking to make some noise in upstate New York.
Well, you can't ask for anything better than that, right? I mean, that would be kind of the Hollywood script story if you had to make a movie. Curtis is a filmmaker, so I'm sure he would be all over this one if you get Liz Culkin. The short drive has been here many times, as you just talked about, to win essentially in what is not Schenectady, but just down the way, would be certainly incredible. I think, obviously Liz Johnson, now back in New York, certainly with a pattern that certainly suits her style of play. If we're looking at it in that regard too. So it could be a case of the Lizzies here in the at the PWBA Albany Open this week.
Yeah, I'm already writing the script, Emil. It's already just jumping off the page. Yeah, it would be it definitely would be a great storyline to follow. And obviously, Liz is one of the premier players out here, and both Liz's, obviously. So one of those things where we definitely want to see what happens, and it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be a whole lot of fun. You guys want to make sure you're tuning in every day on Bowl TV to catch this tournament. It's going to be a little bit of a different look than we've seen in a long time.
All right, I'm going to take a look at some other spots. I'll be right back. Curtis, one small question for you. I know you perused. We are on the high side of the building this week. Did you get a chance to check out the low end? And it's probably way too early to ask as far as any small differences, but I'm always curious in that regard.
Haven't really done that much studying with the difference in play. Obviously, a house characteristics across it is there's always some proclivities here. So I'm gonna meld minds with some of the reps and talk with some of the players. We'll try to get some players in here to discuss what they're seeing, so we can kind of get a feel for it and kind of give the viewers a little bit of a preview of how these lanes are going to play across the house this week.
All right, I look forward to who we get and your guest selection. Thank you, sir.
Not a problem. We'll see you guys soon.
Thanks, Curtis.
Aaron, this also could be a very good week for a player who may not be well known, so to speak, across the tour or to the PWBA fandom, for example. But this could be a situation where an unexpected player, someone that's not on anyone's radar, has a very good week and gets themselves in position to even make the stepladder finals, for example. You got a long way to go before that, but patterns like this, I think, you can be straight. I think for those who may struggle with rev rate, I think all of those individuals are really in play, in my opinion, this week.
I was all ears when you said struggle with rev rate, because it's the story of my life. But
mine too.
But yes, I think that's a great point. This is going to, we talked about how much hook we have off the end of the pattern, but for a player who has a little bit lower rev rate and who can kind of control their break point, they're going to see a little bit more angle coming into the pocket this week than what they are typically used to. And, we've kind of been watching this pair a little bit, and, we've seen Maria Balanova, who's a rookie out here on tour this year. She's been trying to kind of go back and forth and find where that right spot's going to be, but her rev rate may be a little bit too much to be in the zone she's in right now, whereas someone with a little bit lower rev rate, that might be shaping up just perfectly for them, and something they can kind of stay in and put together strikes for a couple of games before they have to start making the moves. So I think that's a fun way to look at it as well. One of the things, and you mentioned it earlier, and just in watching the tour over the course of the past few seasons, Kelly, Team No 8 pin. One of the things that we typically don't see a lot of on the women's tour is urethane. You mentioned Shannon Pluhowski being one of the few left-handers out on tour, always having it close to her. We talked about a few players using it last week and finding some success. We had Danielle McEwen put together a real nice performance, switching to urethane toward the end of her qualifying session. And even looking back at the USBC Masters, Verity Crawley was using it sparingly throughout the course of the block. We saw some of the Motive players, Aaron McCarthy and Maria Jose Rodriguez, using urethane as well. So we're not saying that these players don't know how to use this or don't use it often, but it's just something that out on tour hasn't presented itself a lot of opportunities to use. So with that, I'm going to be kind of curious, to see how many players are carrying urethane. You figure at this juncture of kind of the urethane evolution that it's something that most players are going to have at least one in the bag. But we'll be curious to see the rush to the truck after this block to see how many pitch blacks and Motive tanks and purple hammers are out there that get snagged up this week in the minutes finishing up this practice session.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to assume we would see more urethane this week, perhaps, than we've seen in any other week, and maybe since the tour's been back, to be quite honest in that regard. But I'll be interested to hear from some reps. Hold on one second here.
Of course.
I'll finish my point in a minute. Right now, we've got the movie script waiting already. Here's the main character. She is the lead in this situation. So if there is indeed a Hollywood movie produced by Curtis Von Kruger, I'll ask Curtis. Hold on one second. Okay, to finish that thought, the movie script is ready. Here's the leading character, Aaron Smith. We can bring her in now.
All right, with that, let's bring in upstate New York's own Liz Culkin to the show. Liz, hello.
Hello, how are you guys?
We are doing well. Great to see you. Great to talk to you earlier in the week. I know you were looking forward to this event, had it marked down on the calendar, representing the capital region. And you got a 36-foot pattern this week. Tell us a little bit about some of the initial impressions from what you've seen out there.
Ooh, they're on fire. They're hooking. On the fresh, they're hooking quite a bit. And I'm going to be honest, this house has quite a bit of friction in it already, and I knew that going into it. They're going to hook quite a bit. I would say probably game one, a little bit of game two, but they're going to carry down pretty quickly, and I'm already seeing that. I kind of wasn't hitting the panic button, but I was a little nervous when my first 5 shots went left to the head pin. Literally throwing it as flat-handed as I could, but they're carrying down, and I feel like I'm going to be just fine, but they're definitely going to be hooking in the beginning.
Have you already considered, Liz, kind of your ball, not necessarily the arsenal, but the order of which you may have to then use said bowling ball after those first couple of shots?
Absolutely. That's pretty much what I use the practice session for. I'm not one of those players. A lot of these girls bowl for the whole 90 minutes. I'm not really into that. I'll maybe bowl like an hour just to get used to the approaches and everything and see any characteristics of the high end and low end. But I really use this time to get comfortable at the center and to get my arsenal going. And that means the first, second, third, fourth, fifth balls out of the bag, seeing if I have any gaps, stuff like that. This week, I'm really lucky because we're already talking about some balls that I don't have with me, but that are at my house. And usually I say, oh my gosh, we're going to have to drill that ball and it's sitting in my garage. But this week, I can go and get it. So that's the good news. So yeah, it's been going pretty well so far. I started in the middle of the house because that's where I start tomorrow. We're going to bowl on the high end and bowl on the low end and see what we got going on there.
Now, Liz, we were talking about we don't see too many short patterns on the PWBA tour. There's only been 5 prior to this 36 feet or shorter, but you won one of your titles on a 35-foot pattern back in Topeka. So obviously that was a couple of seasons ago now, but does that bring a little extra confidence knowing that you've found a way to win on a short pattern like this before?
Honestly, not really. I'm going to be honest. I didn't even remember that pattern was that short. I don't remember it playing that short in Topeka. But however, the positive note for me is I'm much better than I was in 2015. It was great to win then, and obviously I was the best player that week. However, I'm a much better player now in 2021, and I'm able to manipulate my hand a little bit better. Back then, I had to rely a lot on drillings and things like that to kind of get me through short patterns. I'm a lot better now. I can kind of be a little bit more versatile with my hand and manipulate it and figure it out. So I know I can bowl in short patterns. I've medaled on short patterns before, Team USA, things like that. So I feel pretty confident about that. But I'm going to be honest, Curtis brought up that my first title was on short, and I just don't remember it playing that short. But I'm definitely more confident now 6 years later because I'm a better player.
Liz, I know you got to get back to practice, and we'll let you get out after this one. How underrated is it as a touring professional to be able to sleep in your own bed?
Very underrated. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of thought this center was like 45 minutes away, and it's a little bit more than that. It's about a little bit more than an hour for me, which I didn't realize until I was driving up here. So I do have to say it's going to be a short jaunt Friday to Saturday if I make the cut for Saturday morning, but I get to go home and sleep in my own bed, eat a meal from my own house. There's a lot of positives with that, and I'm really happy that my parents will be able to get to see me bowl. They don't get to see me bowl very often, and a lot of people from upstate just to come and watch. That's the best part about it for me, is for upstate to see some of the best women bowlers in the world.
And of course, fans certainly are allowed. Thanks to everyone here in New York State for doing a great job. So you get to experience that with all of those individuals you just mentioned. So
absolutely.
We'll let you get back to it. Appreciate your time, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you later.
Thanks, Liz. All right, folks. Liz Culkin joining us here from the official practice session. We're about 41 minutes in, so approaching that halfway point of our broadcast here. So some great notes from Liz there. Taking a look at the pattern, learning a little bit more about the house, noting that it's already tended to hook a little bit. So we're adding more fuel to the fire then with the short pattern and hooking oil and aggressive bowling balls. I love it.
Yeah, this might be just an aggressive week, right? Like you got to leave the smooth, maybe the timidness, right? You know, that soft. You got to be like this week. This might be the grr this week. So
what was that? What was that again?
It was like it wasn't quite like Tony the Tiger grr, but it was the grr. You know.
Is that like that awkward commercial with him and Shaq, and they're trying to do
that one is a little awkward. I would agree.
Who does the the great better?
I would agree.
That's kind of what it felt like right there.
But Curtis mentioned he talked with Chuck, and whatever you got to do right to get it to 5 or outside of 5, I should say, throw it harder. Which this leads me to be very curious. When we get to like a game 4. Some of the moves that would be made, and obviously whatever happens round 1 tomorrow will directly affect how players play in round 2. I think this is just me being observant so far, but I haven't seen very many left-handers not strike so far, and I've seen various styles and various ways to strike as far as playing on the lane. I've seen Shannon Plahowski, play up 2-3 with urethane. I've seen Angelimar Beasley. Someone asked about lefties. Shannon is not the only lefty. I've seen Angelimar Beasley throw a few strikes. She was a few boards right of where Shannon was playing, but still looked to have something that was, I would say, a bit slower on the response time as well. Something certainly smoother on the back end of the lane as well. We'll see. Saw Lindsey Boomershine leave the 7-10, but I didn't see where she was throwing or where she was playing to lead that. So I'd be curious about that. I got to mention I got Dan who has done a lot of work. By the way, shout out to everyone here at Kingpin's Alley Family Fun Center, including Doug, the proprietor, his wife, Dan, Nick, Brandon, everyone who has helped not only get the center prepared for the PWBA, but they're also on the back end of a very nice remodel here in the bowling center. So they put in a lot of work. And so obviously with the advent of fans, many fans are really just not getting a chance to see, some of the improvements that they've done, new flooring, new carpet, things that you guys can't see on screen, but the settees are new as far as there are new couches in the settees as well. So they've done a lot of great work in there. They're not done yet, but almost. So definitely wanted to give them a shout out, and we will be doing that certainly throughout the week.
Going to have the opportunity to see Liz Culkin here for a couple of shots as she has made her way to lanes 33 and 34. Once again, the pairs in play here on BullTV.com that we'll be using throughout the course of the week, 21 through 36. 4 channels and a commentary channel available as part of that wire-to-wire coverage. So the ability to hop around to different pairs, watch your favorite athletes compete. Throughout the course of qualifying, and finally the step ladder finals, once again taking place Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on BullTV.com.
Big shout out to all the good folks watching on Facebook. We are on Facebook today, right? Here,
Facebook and YouTube.
Okay. As well as obviously BullTV.com. So thank you so much. One other additional note that has been discussed, Aaron, in the chat in regards to the lane surface. And they certainly are HPLs, AMF. Those look very familiar to me. I used to practice at a building or facility at St. Charles Lane specifically that had HPL. So you start to kind of understand, especially as you learn more as a player about lane surfaces and which ones have the tendency to do what. And friction has always been something associated with HPLs in my competition life. The gutter has always kind of tended to play on HPLs too in my competition life. So I think that certainly adds to it. This is I can't say anything, Aaron, except fun. This should be a very fun type of week, and it's obviously going to be fun for 32 players.
And then really fun for 12, and then extremely fun for 4, and then tremendous for 1.
Yeah, it could certainly go. Could certainly go in that direction. And we've got a guest coming up too, by the way.
We do. All right.
By the way, folks, Curtis has brought his ring light to the interview station this week. So, I mean, we're full mode, remote production, virtual production. Everyone's got a ring light probably at their house now. And now we have one on the PWBA tour. I think we're ready.
I think we're ready as well. So with that, let's welcome in Ashley Gallante to Bull TV. Hello, Ashley.
Hi, how are you?
We're doing well.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, I know you're doing better than that, Ashley. Come on, put the ring to the ring light. Let's just do it right now. There we go. That's right. Congratulations on your
Thank you. I was really excited. really, I mean, I was kind of hoping that it was going to happen this past week, but I know that I kind of hoped it would happen a lot longer too, like a long time ago. So I was kind of hoping I wasn't wrong this time.
Yeah, I've been there. So I've been on the other side of that. So yeah, I'm happy that it happened. First and foremost, just congrats again. And then, so how do you make it the dream week, if you will, right? You've thrown a few shots on the lanes. You know how short the pattern is and what it's providing so far. So how do you make it that dream week where you get engaged and then potentially find yourself hopefully competing for a first PWBA title?
Just keep a positive mind frame and just keep my eyes on the lanes, execute good shots, make your spares. I think the trick for this week, I don't think it's hard to strike. You just have to make sure that you don't get anything too angular in your hands. So far, a lot of my equipment that was more angular off the spot, it was just a lot harder to control. So a lot of my bigger, slower bowling balls seem to shape off of it not only better, but it's smoother and it controls the break point, and it allows me to feel like I have a little bit bigger margin of error to miss. So that's my game plan so far.
Ashley, what are some of those bowling balls that have that you kind of mentioned the characteristics of them, but what are the particular balls that you think you'll be throwing a bit this week?
So far, I really liked my Obsession Tour, my Knockout, Prism Hybrid, and Web Tour Hybrid. I think my Web Tour may come in handy like later on in the block. That's when I need to start moving a little bit left, and I do need a little bit more cleaner ball through the front. But overall, it's not a super sharp ball off the back end, so I think that it will come and play much later on. So far, I will say my Obsession Tour and my Knockout are probably my two favorites so far. They are rolling really well.
Have you been playing just to the practice up the boards, around 5 or further right? And have you also tried at this point, or will certainly, bumping left and see how far left you can get?
I did try playing straighter up the boards. That didn't look as good for me. When I'm sliding into about 19 right now, and I look at dots, so my eyes are about 12, and I'm just focusing on just getting the ball to the right, about 4 or 5 at the break point. And that seems to be the best area play so far for me. While I'm trying other equipment just to see how it's rolling, I may bump a little bit further left. And some like the Web Tour, that's when I started seeing that ball look a little bit better. So I've been kind of playing around a little bit, but I think that that's going to be somewhere I'm going to start and then obviously move left from there.
All right, Ashley. Well, A, we appreciate you stopping by. B, congratulations.
Thank you.
Pretty awesome moment in your life, and hopefully, many more to come. So obviously, we'll be excited to find out when the wedding date is. Emil's already trying to take the weekend off for it.
March 26th.
March 26th. There we go. But thank you for joining us here on Bowl TV. Best of luck throughout the course of the week, and hopefully we've been talking a little bit about movie scripts this week. Hopefully yours continues in these next couple rounds.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Ashley.
Bye.
All right, folks. Ashley Gallante joining us here on Bowl TV as we have surpassed the halfway point of our practice session here at the Albany Open. We'll go back to full screen and continue to watch the competitors attempt to tackle this 36-foot oil condition.
Our guy Joe in the chat. What's up, Joe? I'm gonna just call him Joe Cannoli Angeloni. I think that seems appropriate. Joe Cannoli Angeloni. That's his new name.
It's one heck of a nickname,
isn't it? Yeah, but Aaron, for a player like Ashley who has worked so hard and has really kind of taking those progressions, if you will, like we talk about that, where, and I've been on tour, fortunately, really since 2016, obviously, from 2016 to 2019 in that full-time capacity. And, this is my second or third event now, but I know how hard Ashley has worked throughout the years. And there was a point to where, she wasn't making money, right? She wasn't earning a check each and every week. And so that was like the first step, where she'd be close each and every week. It'd be like, a few pins out, 33rd, 34th, 35th. And then, she started to make that corner, right? And so then it's, all right, let's make the top 12. And obviously the ultimate goal, of course, is to make the stepladder final. So, this could be that week. I mean, she's a smart player, puts in the work, like I said. And I think the understanding of, she sounded pretty firm, obviously, on what she was already looking for and what she could be doing. Now, obviously, it could change, certainly based on what she continues to see. But, at this point, I would certainly be paying attention to her. There's a few players, I think, who have made the flip, Aaron, from kind of low end to the high end of the building and vice versa. So you may see a few players you haven't seen. Maria Jose Rodriguez is now down on this side of the building. I see Shannon O'Keefe, Taylor Bailey have made their way into the area as well. Lauren Pates on 29 and 30, and she's been kind of doing her own thing for a little bit. There's DG as well. So
again, folks, we do have 4 channels available and a commentary channel on bowltv.com if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube. This is a live look into the practice session here for the PWBA Albany Open, but for wire-to-wire coverage starting tomorrow. Bowltv.com, the place to be. You do have to pick up a subscription to check out all the action, a few different price points to come in at. You can buy an event ticket to watch the live action for $8.95, including the stepladder finals on Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern for that. A monthly recurring subscription is $9.95, so just $1 more. That unlocks the entire site, so not only the live coverage, but you also get archived events and all the on-demand content available on bowltv.com. And that's a month's worth of watching and then some right there. And then, of course, an annual subscription, the best way to support the PWBA Tour, $79.95 to pick that up to get the rest of the tour season. This is the 9th event of the year, so that means we still got 11 PWBA Tour events to go, along with so many other great events throughout the course of the year. All those with the transaction fees, you can head over to bowltv.com right now. Click on Join Bowl TV and get set up for the week to watch the best players on the PWBA Tour compete for the title here at the Albany Open.
Aaron, I want to follow up what I was just talking about with Ashley. And Larry L. in the chat asked, what do you think it will take for Ashley to take that next step? For me, I think it's just the belief, and I believe she does believe in herself from a confidence perspective. I think each and every time out, her confidence does grow, certainly. Everyone has some disappointing outings, so you have to kind of factor those in. Those do happen from time to time. But I think Ashley is just kind of that one, whenever the first one happens, right, where she can really say, all right, I made the stepladder finals. Kind of like that saying where you shoot your first 300, then, they all should follow. I think for Ashley, I think it'd be like that where, once she actually sees that it's happened and she's seen it with her own eyes, not that she doesn't believe it, but you add that belief with the do, and then I think she will, certainly become a consistent player as far as we're talking about who's going to win a title, because obviously the talent has been there, and she's been talented and has proven that. Her youth career certainly proves that she's won a lot of varying things across her career, and then she's just missing, obviously, that one thing from the professional level, and it's on the way, I believe. When? I don't know, but it certainly could be this week. And if there's ever a week to win a title after you get engaged, this would be it, man. That's a lot of confidence right there. I remember when I posted my now wife, I like there was no ring on my finger yet, right? So maybe I'll say when we got married, like you just feel a little different. Like it, as we say now, it hits different, right? Your ring, like your hand's a little extra heavy, right? I actually went bowling. I remember after the first couple of weeks of having a ring on, I was like, okay, what do I do? Like, is it going to fly off? Like, what happens with my off arm now? What should happen? So, she's smiling from ear to ear. Knows obviously she got a job to do this week, but I think that could even help the swing be looser in some degree as well. When things are going good in your personal life, those things tend to also carry over to your professional life.
You brought that one full circle there. I like that.
Yeah, man, I've got so much experience now in so many facets of life. And Aaron, I'll be honest with you. When you go through some stuff that you don't expect, sometimes your perspective can change. So for me, I've always wanted the Bowl TV crew and community to have fun, and for us to have fun, and we certainly do that. And now I just, my arm swing's a little looser now, if that makes any sense, right? Now I'm not gonna go R-rated on y'all. Although I did drop a word last week. It wasn't a bad word. But I described Joe's cannolis in a very positive manner.
You did.
Speaking of Joe, he's already asking about requests. He said he might come down on Sunday. Well, Joe, the first thing is don't come on Sunday because no one will be here. So it's either Friday or Saturday, my guy.
Well, I mean, he certainly could go and support Kingpin's Alley Family Fun Center on Sunday, and
that's also
hit
true.
Hit the lanes on Sunday, but yes, no bowling going on at the time.
Aaron, I think we will have Chuck on the truck.
I like the sound of that. Looks like we'll be ready to have Chuck join us in just a moment here. I think we're good to go here, Emil. So let's bring on Mr. Chuck Gardner to the Bowl TV live stream here from Albany. Chuck, how you doing, buddy?
Just living my best life up in Albany, New York. This is such a great place. I got a lot of history in this bowling center. It's the owners here are awesome, and I've done clinics and camps here and just had a great time here. Love this place.
All right, Chuck. So kind of knowing the center, we talked to Liz a little bit. She mentioned it's kind of in general, it's a high friction place. And then we see 36 feet. We see Kegel terrain out there. We got a gutter we got the gutter in play this week. So talk a little bit about kind of the initial impressions when you first saw the pattern for this particular house.
Well, I knew they would hook because the place does hook, and 36 feet with a little terrain, we're gonna be able to throw it hard, and I think it's gonna be really crucial that the girls and the reps together make good decisions, because when you have to change zones and you have to get left, because that's gonna happen at some point for a lot of the girls, I think you're gonna have to make a quick decision and jump in there and get really steep through the front. I think it's really important to try and keep it trapped in front of you early and really rolling it with a little bit bigger covers and medium to bigger balls. But when you have to make the move, you can go to some stuff that's a little more skid flip and get your angles pretty open and get steep through the front part of the lane.
Chuck, how do you get players equipment this week, at least maybe on the fresh at some point, to stop hook? What might be the tools or the tricks to be able to help them do that?
More surface and more forward roll. Get it into a roll, and if you got to put more surface on it, you just crack it with more surface and make it stop. And it's interesting that some people are really uncomfortable with that motion, and I would tell you that I was one of them. So it's a very difficult motion to love. And I think there could be some pin carry issues the first few games because I think you're going to have to make it stop to keep control of the pocket. But who knows? Someone always figures it out, and someone always bowls great. And just like last week, they were pretty darn tough last week, and Stephanie just figured out a way to be great every block and end up winning the tournament. So.
Now, Chuck, in trying to kind of smooth that motion off the back of the pattern, we've mentioned it here, and the folks have wondered how much urethane has been going down the lane so far here in the practice session.
Not a whole lot. The girls don't. If this was a guys' tournament, it would be 90% urethane. Without question, it would be 90% urethane. But I would say there's probably not more than 5 or 6 girls throwing urethane. It's just not something that a lot of the girls are super comfortable with. Shannon Pulowski's throwing urethane. Sandra Gongora is throwing urethane. I think Maria was throwing some urethane, and Summer, but I didn't see a whole lot of other ladies throwing urethane. I just didn't see a bunch of it, but who knows about tomorrow? There could be some being drilled on the truck. Cecil might be a little busy with urethane balls tonight, but I just don't think it's really in the ladies' comfort zone. I even talked to Jordan Richard about it. I said, Jordan, are you going to try and throw any urethane? She says, I don't like urethane. I don't like the way it looks, and I can't make it do the right thing for me. So.
Chuck, you mentioned one thing. We'll let you go. The word steep, and that is often described. The players need to move and steep or non-steep angles. If you had to describe that to a viewer who maybe first hearing that term in the bowling world, how would you describe that?
I would describe it that you're trying to throw it further right than you need to throw it, and you're trying to throw it further right early. Because I think the only way you're going to get the ball to, once you get your angles open, to get it to bleed off and give you a feeling that there's some hold, is to get it right quick so it starts to burn up. If you try to float it there from the middle part of the lane and use normal angles, let's say if you're sliding 25 and you're going to go across the arrows at 19 and you're going to float it to like 10, 11, 12, if you're trying to get steep, you're going to slide into 25, but you want to get it to 11 or 12 at the arrows. So you want to get it there quicker. You want to get it there going so it goes forward faster. And it's something that a lot of the girls are really good at. The great bowlers, I think all great bowlers are really good at doing that. And that's why a lot of times when the patterns are really considerably tough and there's no hold, that when the viewer looks and goes, wow, it looks like they have hold. Well, they're creating it by being steep enough through the front part of the lane to make it happen.
All right, Chuck. Well, we appreciate that rundown there and the breakdown of the pattern this week, and the time as always. We always appreciate you joining us here on Bowl TV and giving us some insight. So we'll let you get back to it. Thank you again, and we'll talk to you soon, my friend.
My pleasure.
Thanks,
Have
Chuck.
a great one.
All right, folks, that was Chuck Gardner with Brunswick joining us here on BowlTV.com. We got about 20 minutes left of this practice session. So with that, let's go full screen and kind of take a look at some of the new players joining our pairs. But this is going to be kind of the warning. And for the folks who watch every week, you know what I'm going to be talking about here. With about 20 minutes left in the practice session, we are going to prepare for our giveaway here shortly. So if you're already on BowlTV.com, you're already at the place to be. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, head on over to BowlTV.com. You can create a free login to check out the end of the practice session here and be eligible to participate in the giveaway. So we got a Bowl TV t-shirt. I mentioned Joe. Joe won one last week, or was wearing his last week at the BVL Open. So Joe's looking good. So we got his picture up on the Facebook page, the PWBA Tour Facebook page. So be sure to check that out as well. You can take a look at the shirt there. I think we'll have to create a cutout to put on a screen of Joe when it's time to give away t-shirts moving forward, just so folks know what they look like and see how happy Joe was since he had won one. So Joe, we We appreciate you rocking the T-shirt on site last week at Farmingdale Lanes, and appreciate everybody for the continued support here of Bowl TV and the PWBA Tour. Moving over to the high end of the house here, we got Dasha Kovalova, Julia Bond, Brianna Cote, Shannon O'Keefe, Summer Jasmine, Maria Jose Rodriguez. There's Gigi.
One of the great things, Aaron Smith, about being on tour is I got a missed call from a Texas number. Aaron, was that you?
That was not me.
That actually scares me when that happens. But we will have a guest, and I'll get to my point in a minute.
All right. Emil, are we good to go there?
I think we're good.
All right. I'll let you bring her in.
All right. Let's bring in Alexis Nair to the Bowl TV broadcast here at practice. Alexis, first and foremost, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing well.
Doing well.
We'll start with just kind of last week because I know round one didn't go well, but you got things together in round two. And so just kind of how do you kind of bottle that momentum up and the good bowling that you did last week to get a check into this week, obviously with, we won't talk about the pattern just yet, but coming off last week, how do you feel as you're entering and still doing this rookie thing out of the PWBA Tour?
Yeah, it feels really good because especially since I struggled so much the first block, it really was a positive to see how my mental game was. Like, I was 100 out of the cut after the first six. So it was really nice to see that, like, I was able to, like, bear down and really just be myself and make good shots. And I fortunately got in my position to make the top 32, which was crazy. But that just gave me a lot of confidence to see, like, I can do that. Like, I can get a 100-pin deficit and make it there. So hopefully, short oil pattern this week. Super excited. So hopefully the momentum keeps rolling.
One of the things that Emil had mentioned about that run last week was that your family got to come and join you on the lanes and watch, and I presume offer a few pointers along the way as well. So how cool was it to have them out there, especially with that being the first event where fans have been allowed to have them out there supporting you on the PWBA Tour as well?
Yeah, it was just amazing. My family's super supportive, like always. We all bowl, like obviously all of us, and it just makes me want to throw better shots, for them. Like, it's just not for myself when they're there. I want to do better for them. And that, helped a lot too, because they actually showed up after the first 6 games. So, that made me more comfortable, more relaxed. And yeah, I was happy I could get it done for them.
You mentioned the excitement already about this week's pattern distance. So you've had a chance to bowl on it. Give us your early thoughts and impressions and maybe why you're excited about bowling this week.
So for me personally, my rep rate's not super high, but I love playing the gutter. I mean, I grew up with dad lefty, brother lefty, always playing 1, 2, 3, and it was just something that I learned how to do pretty quickly just because they did it. So I was like, I want to do it too. So I think that's a pretty good advantage that I'm really comfortable playing that part of the lane. And, I'm more confident in my carry as well from 1, 2, 3. I'm not so forced, because when I get in, I tend to force it, which is, natural for a lower rate. But yeah, super excited. Definitely my favorite part of the lane to play. But yeah.
Will we see Anthony or your dad, Andy, at some point this week, potentially?
Yeah, Anthony's actually right over there right
Oh,
now.
how about that?
And my dad will hopefully be able to come Saturday, but he has, we own a bowling alley, so he's got to run his business.
Well, Alexis, you talked about feeling pretty comfortable out there near the gutter. What type of equipment have you kind of cycled through so far that looks like it's going to be good to start off with throughout the course of this weekend?
Yeah, so definitely I started with some really rolly pieces, like my IQ Tour. My reality was pretty good, a little too early. Same with my Axiom, but like my IQ Tour, my Ordnance C4, those symmetrical like doll pieces were really good to start. And then when they started to burn up a little bit, I went to my Astrophysics, which is an ASIM Pearl, but I have surface on it, so it picks up a little sooner. And my Zen, which is an earlier symmetrical ball, were both really good once my IQ started in flat 10, zone, and then I just 2-in-1 and just making sure I get the ball to 1-2, and that's the goal.
All right, Alexis. Well, we appreciate you joining us here on Bowl TV. We're going to look forward to watching you play 1, 2, 3 throughout the course of the week here at the Albany Open. Hopefully a bunch of strikes, just like we saw at the Queens a couple of weeks ago with the 300. So hopefully some more of that coming up for you. It's been fun watching your rookie tours, your rookie season on tour. There we go. And hopefully some more success coming your way shortly here this week. So thanks for joining us again, and best of luck throughout the course of the week.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Very cool. Alexis and I are joining us, part of the amazing rookie class we got here in 2021 on the PWBA Tour. Emil, we got about 15 minutes left, give or take, here of the practice session here at the Albany Open. So how about in about 5 minutes, we'll do this T-shirt giveaway.
Good idea.
Once again, only on bowltv.com. I mentioned it when you stepped away to go get Alexis there, but we have that photo of Joe wearing the shirt.
Oh, nice.
Being awesome, being happy.
He's probably our new model, isn't he?
I think after this, I might talk to our creative department, see about turning that into like an overlay for the show. And so when we're giving that away, we just have Joe's our T-shirt guy.
Joe's our guy.
But
he would enjoy them.
Absolutely. But yeah, we got a couple minutes left here, so it's been interesting. We'll go back full screen here to kind of see. We've seen basically kind of the same strategy kind of across the house of how to get there. The thing that I'm interested in seeing, as especially Chuck talked about players having to get steep, having to open up their angles, and we see players starting to do that a little bit, but you're trying to get the ball to slow down so it's not making the sharp left off the end of the pattern. And it's going to be very interesting to watch carry, I think, throughout the course of this week. It's going to be fun watching players play the gutter and attack the pattern that way. But I think it's going to be interesting to see who can consistently carry throughout the course of this too, because with some of those steeper angles, it's we've seen some 7-10s in there. We've seen some flat 10s, some weak mixer 7s. So it'll be interesting to see who can kind of find that right mix to still retain enough energy and maintain the pocket throughout the course of that.
Yeah, and this may sound weird, but I think we'll have a few variations of carry, if you will, right? Because and not necessarily maybe carry, but the leaves that will certainly help dictate the carry percentage. Because there's going to be a ton of 4-pins, right? A lot of angle, a lot of friction. Maybe some high flush 7s, some 9-pins. We already seen a couple of 8-pins, and obviously there's going to be 10 pins left as well. We could see some really funky designs. All right, the split percentage might be very high, or maybe the highest it's been all season, because there's going to be a lot of bowling balls going through the nose, both righties and lefties. So, yeah, who can carry the best is always a good contest to have. I think in this situation, who has the best entry angle to help carry, might put it over the top. And Curtis might have something to add to that. Curtis, what's going on?
Well, if they're going to want to carry, they're going to have to play the house a little different from the low end to the high end. I did have an opportunity to kind of check out how things are playing, and certainly seems like the high end is hooking more. It's a little easier to get the ball right on the low end, but the mid lane is reading a little more aggressively on the high end. So players are going to have to navigate that as they play. It certainly seems like the players who can stay right longer will have a little bit higher success. As you kind of move left and you start worrying about balls burning out, and definitely kind of having that issue, as you guys alluded, staying off the head pin and getting a ball to stop. So definitely looks like the high end, as I said, does hook a little more. So there are some unique characteristics to this house as you play across it.
It's funny that Chuck mentioned that a little bit, and it's always going to happen that way, right? Generally speaking, the either end of whatever building that we're in has some level of difference, and how you navigate that sometimes is always kind of the game within the game, if you will. Curtis, let me just ask you your thoughts here. We talked about some players earlier, obviously, who we thought could have some success. Since you've made your way around the building here, any other players that have kind of jumped out and you said, well, I like their look, maybe they could give it a run this week?
Well, I have two players in mind right now that I really kind of like their look. Dasha Kovalova. Short oil may not have always been her strength, but looking her line right now and how she's played across the house, I really like her entry angle to the pocket, how her ball is rolling. She's gotten a lot better at staying up the back of the ball over the years. She's really put a lot of effort into kind of having a couple more tools in her tool belt, as we mentioned. Like her look. And Brianna Klimmer, she's a player who can throw it really, really hard. She's worked a lot at kind of controlling her timing and her backswing over the last few weeks. Obviously, she had a lot of success last week. Liked her look to the pocket, and I look at her to be another player that might have another successful week this week.
I like it. My man, appreciate you.
Not a problem.
Thanks, Curtis. All right, folks, it's about that time. Final call if you're on Bowl, or if you're not on BowlTV.com, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, this is going to be your final call to head on over, create a login if you haven't done so already, to be eligible to win our Bowl TV giveaway. A Bowl TV t-shirt is going to be up for grabs in just a quick minute or two. So final warning. So if you're already at BowlTV.com, you're already at the place to be, not only for the giveaway, but for wire-to-wire coverage of the 2021 PWBA Albany Open. So we'll get that going here in just a quick second. If you're new to BowlTV.com, this is your first time watching, and you're wondering, how on earth do I win a giveaway? Well, it's super easy. You'll see a prompt in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. It's going to say, hey, a giveaway is going to be happening soon. And it'll be a countdown. It'll take a couple seconds to count down. You'll be ready to go. And then all of a sudden you'll see another prompt come up saying the giveaway has begun. And all you have to do is find the submit entry button, which is right next to it. It's going to be on the screen itself. All you have to do is click it, and you'll be eligible to win a Bowl TV t-shirt. If you are watching in full screen, we do recommend you take it out of full screen for a second so you can see the chat, you can see the channels and everything for that particular giveaway for that time frame, and we'll let you know as well. We'll give it a quick prompt before we press the button and go live as well. Got Sydney Brummett, Missy Parkin, Shalyn joining us as well. We've gotten to see quite a few different players make their way down here too.
Aaron,
33 through 36.
My bad. I will say that someone mentioned Shannon O'Keefe a little bit in the chat, and like for me, and I guess I need to be aware of this, right? Because for me, Shannon O'Keefe is always in my mind as far as being a top player. And so sometimes if I don't mention her, it's not because I don't think she's going to be in contention. It's because I already think she is. And so, but everyone, well, obviously, is not hearing or seeing what's in my mind. But I have watched like the last, I don't know, 5 to 8 shots that she's thrown. And I know we're in the back half of practice, but, I feel like she has a whatever her transition is going to be, if it's a zone change like Chuck mentioned, because I don't know where she started. But she looks to be in good position to make that transition as easy as possible. Certainly, if the lanes look a little bit like what they will now, which they probably won't because it's practice. But we can. I feel like you could just always kind of count on Shannon, and it's more of a shock when she doesn't. Last week we were talking about, hey, she's in 10th, 11th. She's just kind of hanging around the number, and then all of a sudden, right, she made a run. And almost got to the stepladder finals. And so, for her, it certainly could be one of those weeks where she starts out in the top 5, potentially with what we're seeing so far here.
And with Shannon's second shot here, we'll go ahead and start the giveaway. So be on the lookout for that on bowltv.com. And Emil, I think it's, Shannon did miss one event in this season. She did not attend the Cleveland event because that was the week of ITC. So as the head women's bowling coach of McHenry University, she was trying to help the Bearcats to a national title. So, she's missed one event so far this season. But one of the stats on PWBA.com takes a look, and it's with the interesting, we have quite a few different formats out here. But it looks at players who have made match play, have made top 12s. And Shannon is the only player who's 100%, who's bowled a couple of events. So even though she's missed an event, she is still leading in that category. She's made every top 12 for a standard event. She's made match play at every event at the Kickoff Classic Series, made match play at the Queens. So she has arguably been the only player. She has the one title and the one championship round appearance so far this season. But she's the only player to have put herself in position to win every single week.
Yeah, and obviously on this tour, if you don't make the top 12, you have no chance of winning that title, and that's literally the fact, because that's how the cuts are rolled. So top 12 is arguably the most important stat, right? The most important probably is points, because that's how we decide, player of the year, rookie of the year, etc. But from week to week, who's the best player out, right? How do we judge or determine outside of the eye test who are the top players on tour? You look at top 12, certainly. You look at points. Cash is obviously, but the top 12 puts you in that upper echelon. And it's no surprise that, she's still the best player out, without question. And stats like that prove it.
And one little fun note as well, we mentioned just the rarity of having patterns 36 feet or shorter on tour. 2 out of the last 3 times we've had a 36-foot pattern, Shannon O'Keefe has won that event. So she has that going for her as well. But just watching her throughout the course of this, and I saw someone mention it in the chat as well, that she is just hasn't missed the pocket. Is all over the 1-3, carries. We talked about finding the little tricks to make those subtle changes, which is something Shannon's very good at, as well as the 2-time reigning PWBA Player of the Year. But yeah, she has been a top contender each and every event she's been at. Congratulations to Sue Ling Utley, taking home a Bowl TV T-shirt. So be on the lookout for an email from our marketing team in the next couple of days. Make sure you get the right size for you, get that shipped away. So congratulations to Sue Ling Utley. And thanks to everybody on Bowl TV for participating and being part of the Bowl TV community. We'll have giveaways throughout the course of the week, so be on the lookout for those as well. Of course, for the folks watching on Facebook, on YouTube, with some of our industry partners, we have bowling ball giveaways with every stepladder finals here on bowltv.com as well on the PWBA tour. So 3 bowling balls will be given away on the show again this week, 1 from Storm, 1 from Rotogrip, and 1 from Brunswick. So big thank you to all of them for their continued support of the tour. So giveaways, something we just do on Bowl TV.
Indeed. Congrats, Sue. Yeah, congrats there. There you see another rookie, Kayla Crawford, who is back out this week. You see Missy Parkin. I think Mike Flanagan mentioned in the chat, if he's still watching, what up, Mike? Missy can do some tricks as far as ball roll and what she can do with her hand as well, which makes her very versatile and one of the most versatile players certainly out on tour. It's not a lot of times where you see her not be able to get to the 1-3 in that sense. So, and then we see Clara Guerrero as well, and Clara certainly can play up the boards also. So she would be another player to keep in mind and to watch out for as well, because we've seen Clara be able to handle business, especially if she has to play right or near the gutter. She is excellent at that. And so watch out for Clara too, good folks.
Do you think Clara had the same face as the young lady on the monitors there when she saw the short pattern this week? I've been waiting for the opportunity to make a reference to that this whole show, and we're running out of time, so I had to force my hand there. But I've enjoyed that look and trying to find the right comparison to it of when someone saw this oil pattern this week. So I agree, though. I think Claire's due for a big week here out on tour. It's been kind of a so-so season for her up until this point. So still kind of looking for that breakthrough performance. And I could see if she gets lined up, if she gets comfortable, I think she can cause a lot of damage this week.
Couple shots here at Missy. I believe Missy and grandparents, DJ, I believe Shaolin and her daughter as well. I got a chance to check out the Statue of Liberty earlier this week. A lot of players actually did make the drive from Farmingdale to South Glens Falls with some stops along the way, some in New Jersey, some in New York to do a little sightseeing, if you will. So it's always good when the tour kind of lines up, stops line up to where players can take advantage of the schedule in that regard and get away from what they're doing and thinking about on the lanes and be able to take a step back, enjoy the personal, the life portion. Because you do need that balance. You literally can't go, in this case, 20 weeks. Theoretically, I know there's a lot of weeks combined and multiple events in one stop, but 20 events is a lot to think about over the course of really what is now the longest season since the relaunch of the PWBA Tour. So, you need to be able to take a little bit of a break, relax, see something else that's not including bowling balls and pins, and then get back at it.
So again, we are just moments away from wrapping up this practice session, which means we're just about done with our broadcast here for today. So as we look ahead to the rest of the week, once again, 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow, round number 1 of qualifying 6 games from the PWBA Albany Open will get underway. Our second round will be tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, and after 12 total games. We'll cut to the top 32 athletes. Those competitors will return Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern time once again for another 6-game block. And after 18 games, the top 12 will advance for one more 6-game round. And after that, 24-game pinfall totals will determine our top 4 for the stepladder finals Saturday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on bowltv.com.
See if I can get one more guest before we go here, Aaron.
All right, EWJ.
The athletes, 2 minutes remaining of your official practice session. 2 minutes remaining.
Let's try to get Daria for a quick second. Daria Payuk, that is. And she was nearby. She's already offered and provided some delicious Polish chocolate candy.
I'm really missing out not being on tour this season.
You are, bro. I'm not going. Yeah. I mean,
everyone's bringing treats, and here I am.
It's
stuck with my granola bars.
Now I'll tell you the story since she'll be on. She can hear it though. When she offered me some candy this morning, I was like, she told me it was from Poland, and I'm like, wait, you went home? Like, that is impressive. If you went all the way to Poland and came back to bowl the Albany Open. So we'll have Daria on in just a second. She is being framed up, and she'll be on in a sec. So if you got some questions for Daria, good people at Bowl TV chat, go ahead and fire away. I'll try to pay attention as much as I can. And Aaron, I think we're good.
All right, let's bring her into the show. Daria Payuk, welcome to Bowl TV.
Hi, guys.
Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Actually, the practice went very well, so I'm quite happy. I'm actually plugging some balls in the pro shop because I missed on some spans, and I think that those balls can come and play, but for now, I had a very good local view today. I brought my old Booyah, the Booyah that I almost made the top 8 at the World Series in 2016. So, yeah, I'm quite excited for what's on the lane, and I think it's going to be very challenging for most of us because we don't really see short patterns that much. So we really have to control the back of the lane and really roll the ball. So it's going to be something different than what we were doing the past weeks.
Daria, I saw you throwing some stuff, and did you throw? And I apologize. I got Neil in my ear too, so I'm trying to make sure I listen to what's happening. Did you throw urethane? Did you just talk about that?
Can you please repeat? I'm sorry, I can hear Danielle.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm always afraid I'm gonna get fined whenever she says something. Oh my god! So I really couldn't focus on what you were asking me. Can you go again?
Let me. You repeat what you just. Aaron, what was your first question?
Oh, you're gonna put it on me now. Okay.
I just want to know your first question, so I don't.
Daria, we saw some posts throughout the course of the week. I know you guys were up in New Jersey for a little bit, hanging out with Kelly this summer with Verity. Just kind of, what was the week like for you guys getting ready for this event to get ready for this stop?
Yeah, so we had a lot of very ambitious plans. I knew I was not gonna go anywhere in between the 2 stops. Like I couldn't go home to Europe, so I knew I was gonna hang out in New York area. And so the Verity did summer. Sorry, for winter. She joined us. So we had a very ambitious idea of going to the beach on Sunday and then seeing the city on Monday, but the weather was just so bad that we didn't do anything really on Sunday. We ended up just practicing, bowling, and working out. And we did go to the cinema, which I was so excited about because I feel like I haven't been to a movie theater in over a year. So that was like also a very cool experience. But other than that, nothing really.
All right, we got to ask, what movie?
Cruella.
How was it?
Yeah, like 8 out of 10. Not bad.
8 out of 10? All right.
Yeah,
That's not bad. That's not bad.
I really enjoyed it. It was very enjoyable. Like, as with a lot of Disney movies, you can expect some certain things. So, the camera was really, really nice. Acting was good. A lot of, like, Disney movies, a little bit like, I don't even know how to say it. But it was nice. It was what you would expect for a Disney movie. That's exactly what it was.
Okay. Obviously, you've had a lot going on this season and getting back to the United States, et cetera. So I felt like last week you were starting to kind of come into your own, so to speak, back out on tour. And you never know what you're going throughout. So do you feel like you've reached a point to where you can just kind of focus in on the bowling part and allow your body to kind of get back into the swing of things with bowling every week?
Well, I'm so glad you're asking because I felt like I didn't cut myself enough slack when I came at the beginning. My expectations were not really high, but I had expectations to myself and my game, and I really did not meet them. I missed 2 first cuts. The first cut I missed by a lot. The second cut I missed by a bit. So it's like hit after hit, there's been so much going on in my personal life. And we also had some troubles with the car accident or some hotel issues that we faced. So it's always something going on the personal side. And then bowling is not going well. It's very easy to let it go to your head. But upon talking to my coach and had practice with Kelly twice, we were just chatting about my game, and I just could hear her perspective over like physical side of bowling. And I really like that whatever I had worked on for the past only month and a half is really aligning with what she was seeing and exactly what I've been working on with Costas. So I've moved my push away from being really low to back to where it used to be when I was bowling in Detroit. And I'm slowly finding the confidence that I've lost so many years ago.
That means you're gonna win. So okay, I know what's happening this week. All right. I'm putting you down for a lot of strikes. Good stuff.
Don't say because I was striking today so much, and I like literally freaked out. I'm like, I'm leaving. It cannot happen. So yeah, I had a very good look today, but in the past weeks, what I've noticed is that the pattern played a lot different during practice than what it would at the tournament. So I'm not trying to get extra excited. I'm just happy that the look with the urethane for me is out there, and it makes me really comfortable, because if I'm not on the top of my shape or top of my form, I cannot roll the ball that well like Liz Johnson or Danielle or a lot of straighter players. So it's very hard to beat them at what they do best, or even try to pick up a battle. But I feel like if the urethane is going to be helping me and it's out there, I have a chance just to perform well.
All right, Daria. Well, we'll be looking forward to watch you compete throughout the course of the week here at the Albany Open. Thank you for letting us know about Cruella as well. So now we have to check it out. 8 out of 10 is pretty solid. But thank you again for joining us here. We look forward to watching you throughout the week, and best of luck the rest of the way out.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Daria. All right, Emil, we are getting ready to sign off here from our PWBA podcast from the road at the PWBA Albany Open. We got the short pattern this week, 36 feet in length. We saw some excitement already just in how players are attacking this pattern. We don't get to see this too often on tour. So the gutter is in play. So we're going to see players get aggressive, be aggressive out there. It's going to be fun to watch. We'll see if the strikes match the aggressiveness throughout the course of the competition. But really looking forward to the next 2 days.
4 300 there. That's
ooh.
Putting it out there. Going with 4. 4 minimum, that is too. I just think there will be players who will figure out the right angle.
Mm-hmm.
And then there'll be enough carry for those particular players to get 4 300s. And I'll probably be wrong, because that happens all the time. It's what we do. We make bold predictions, and we're wrong all the time. But yeah, this is very exciting for me. I love watching the gutter play. It gets me back into competition mode, so I get to be kind of extra bowly, if you will, which is not a word. I just made it up. But I'll be looking at how balls are peeling, and hopefully not peeling really off the gutter this week, because a lot of players want to see their ball slow down. And if you're playing the gutter and you're getting too much hook, then Brooklyn's might be okay, but you don't want the designs, and there'll be a lot of balls going through the nose. There'll be a lot of 4 pins, and all of a sudden as well. So I'm looking forward to it, and we'll get Curtis's opinion real quick as well. Before we say goodbye, congrats to Su Ling again, by the way, on the Bowl TV T-shirt. And then Curtis, I just gave my opinion on 4 300s this week. How many think?
You know what? I'm gonna Price is Right you and go for 5.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I definitely think that 279 will not be the high game this week as opposed to last week. Definitely saw a lot of strikes, a lot of pocket. It's going to be who can control their entry angle, and yeah, I definitely think they're going to be some 300 shot. So stay tuned to Bowl TV to see them. Hopefully, we'll get some live action here on Bowl TV.
That's right. 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. We're going to kick off competition here at the Albany Open. So a big shout out to Kingpin's Alley Family Fun Center in South Glens Falls, New York, for hosting the event this week. Shout out to Doug and the whole crew. We're excited to see this event. We're excited to see the gutter in play. Yes, gutter play is awesome. Very excited about this. But folks, 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, the first qualifying round. We're going to throw the schedule up there as we sign off as well, so you can see the whole lineup for the weekend, Friday and Saturday, leading up to the stepladder finals. But a big thank you, of course, to USBC, the BPWA, and their board of directors for their continued support of the PWBA Tour. Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider of the PWBA Tour. Of course, Shannon O'Keefe for photobombing Curtis right now. The players, can't forget about the players, of course, for not only having great personalities, interacting with us throughout the course of the broadcast and the competition, but for putting on a show for us each and every week. And of course, you. That's right. I'm talking about you, the Bowl TV viewer. Thank you so much for being part of the community, making it so fun for us each and every week. So for the staff on site, for Curtis Von Kruger, Emil Williams Jr., my name's Aaron Smith. We're going to be signing off from the official practice session at the PWBA Albany Open, but we'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, once again the time to kick off competition. So, folks, we're going to go ahead and take the night off. Be sure to visit pwba.com and our social media channels as well to learn a little bit more about everything going on this week. That's going to do it. Thank you again for watching us here on Bowl TV. And remember, folks, on Bowl TV, bowling lives here.